What's up, guys? Emo Tempest here, and today we're doing another Duel series. This time it's going to be featuring the Golbez deck. It's definitely a different variant that, well, it's not a different variant than you guys are probably used to, but it's a different variant than from the one I'm used to. I'm used to playing like standard units, but with different elements really. So this one's going to revolve more around ice, wind, and lightning, I believe. But yeah, that's the Golbez deck is on the right, and I will be on the left piloting different decks. So this first one is going to be an Earth Fire. I do want to get into this deck with you guys a lot later and talk about it a lot more. It's very I'll give you the truth. It's a little slow right now. I'm really hoping that Opus 5 will help me get that deck working a little faster, because it's very troublesome and annoying to get over once it sets up. The real only problem right now is that it just takes too long to set up. But we're not talking about that now. We're just gonna get into the Golbez thing. But yeah, so this Golbez is, yeah, like if you see the hand right now, it's lightning, wind, and water. Actually, there you go. But I think it has a lot more than that. I know it has ice in it too, but I guess I just want to showcase what the deck does against different things. I know it's a little different when you're playing against it yourself, but we were testing this deck for the 1K Cup, the Winter Park Cup tournament we went to, and it ended up, he went, I think he went 2-2-1, 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw, or a tie, if you will. The system they were using, challenge, I think it's called, pronounced, only allows ties instead of double losses when you guys get into time and in sudden death. So with that being said, we were just going through some decks. The first deck here is the Fire Earth, like I mentioned. The second deck is Mono Wind, and the last deck is just my Ice deck for you guys to see. But yeah, it's very simple, very straightforward. You kind of want to draw into your cards, the important ones. The reason he plays the Yuna is to reduce the cost of Famfrit, because Famfrit is a great card to help pop the Golbez. Yeah, see, Yuna, and then the Red Mage helps the Golbez get haste, and also helps put haste on any of the things that come out on the board if they don't already have haste. But yeah, the deck on the left revolves around Sabin, kind of. It has a lot of plays for him. And I thought I was original when I created that deck, but I definitely wasn't. There was a lot of stuff. Well, of course, you know how it is. Sometimes when you're thinking of something, you're very original, and then sooner or later someone shows up with it before you. And yeah, that's what happened. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward here just a second, because the video... I think the food gets there at this point, so give me a sec and I'm coming right back. Alright guys, now we're back. I think we just ordered from Uber Eats there, and it was definitely something. I think we got Chicken Kitchen that day, but whatever. But yeah, so anyway, I was talking about the Fire Earth deck as well as the Golbez deck for you guys. And yeah, like I said, it just takes a little while for the Fire Earth deck to set up. But I guess this duel is just going really slow for us, really. Both decks are slowing or drawing out. It kind of takes a while if you don't open the Golbez. But yeah, there it is. See, and then he's got the Famfrit, I believe, in his hand already, so he's gonna be able to play it next turn. Do you guys like my Moogle? That's a Mog from 6. We decided to make some perler version of him, just so he can help us the labels of the end of the camera, just so we can see it. But yeah, going forward, like I said, with both of these decks, I'm really excited to see what Opus 5 has to do with both, with a lot of these decks, because man, I want to talk more about those spoilers later in another video, but there is some really great cards in there, and I'm super excited. I don't think I enjoyed enough of Opus 4. Honestly, like, it came and went almost. Like, we only had, since our locals are kind of slowing down, there isn't a lot of people playing them right now at the locals. I'm hoping we'll have a sneak peek for the Opus 5, but it doesn't look like we did, like we might. So we'll see what happens there. I will record some of that, if some of the sneak peek stuff for you guys, just for fun. But yeah, see, here we are. We're gonna be watching. So I put it out, Delita. See, that's another thing too. There's a lot of 5 costs in this deck, and as much as I like that, they're just too. They slow you down way too much. Now we got a lot of plays here. So let's see what the Golbez deck decides to do. Actually, I did want to ask you guys. Have you played a Golbez deck? Have you guys ever tried the Golbez deck? Do you feel like there's a lot of things going on, or a lot of things you have to remember? Do you get overwhelmed? Maybe. I'm curious. I personally haven't played a Golbez deck, but you know, my teammate was telling me that maybe not necessarily this variant, but the variant he ended up finally taking to the tournament. It just had so many plays, so many options that it's hard to keep track of, because you end up with like maybe 5 or 6 forwards with different little unique abilities, as well as you have the different summons, and it just becomes overwhelming at some point. And I think to myself, I don't know, like, yeah, maybe it's right. I already forget. Sometimes I forget the effects that I have on the board already, but it's just, I don't know. I know, because I just want this Golbez to die already, so I can talk about all the forwards that, like. All right, there it is. So I play the Belias. I get over him, and he's gonna probably respond with the Frankfurt, like I said. Yeah, see, so Frankfurt's at 2. Yeah, so it's gonna break Golbez. I'll give him Edgar, so I can still draw my card. That'll resolve. He'll get his forwards. That'll resolve, and I'll draw my card. But yeah, look, going through the deck, you see it has Mime. See Tifa. See, this is the haste version with the standard units. I guess this is similar to the deck that I'm used to, but it's just different colors. Yeah. But see, like, these don't have that many effects, but the Rogue has an effect, Onion Knight has an effect, and then you have Shulk and Tifa, all the little things. Like, I don't know if you guys have that problem when you play these decks, but like I said, I sometimes I forget my own cards' effects, and it's very important. I guess that's one of the things I want to talk about mostly in this deck, in this deck series. You guys gotta, the decks are, you build them or whatever, or you net deck them, whatever. Everyone does it. It's no big deal, but you gotta read the cards. You gotta see what they do. That's very important, because like Sabin, for example, I have a Sabin in my hand. When I first pulled a Sabin, I was like, I don't see the merit in this card, because I thought he could only pick himself for his effect. And, that doesn't really, to me, it's like, okay, that's cool, he won't die. But later I read it again to realize he can pick someone else. He can pick, he can pick himself. He can pick someone else so they make him unbreakable. But it's just like, I don't know, like, it didn't seem interesting to me at first. And just to stop on that train of thought, you see how he did the Shimizu, swung 3, and then gave haste to the Rogue to get in the extra point of damage. See, that's kind of what this deck does. Just gets them and goes under the radar for, I don't know if he ends up drawing the other Shimizu or whatever. But anyway, so yeah, so I thought Sabin was just targeting himself that he can't break. And then I also didn't realize that his second ability to buff himself is only when he's attacking. And there's the Shimizu that he was counting on. But yeah, and it's like you gotta go back and read those cards. Like, just be sure on what they do, because sometimes you can't fully commit to plays if you don't know what they do, and then you find yourself making serious mistakes when you get corrected, like at tournaments or something like that. That's happened to me before when I played Yu-Gi-Oh! That's for sure. It's like, I used to, like, just sometimes I wouldn't even read the cards. Sometimes I would just be like, oh, I know this is the same, this belongs in this deck, and so I knew I have to play it at 3 or whatever. But it's like, when you sit down and read the cards, you sometimes realize that you become more aware of things, and like your brain decides to process other plays on other possibilities and other outcomes. But if you don't know what they do, then your mind doesn't do that for you. And I don't know, that's just the way I feel about a lot of things. Like sometimes I still forget Minwoo. Sometimes I still forget like even the stuff I should know. But you're supposed to remember everything as you're playing. But let's be real, you know, it's normal for everyone to just overlook something. Even after you've played so long, your brain is fried, and sometimes you just can't, man. It's not a big deal. Like it's happened to me, it's happened to everyone. My teammates especially, they'll sometimes after a tournament we've been playing like 6 rounds and then the top 8 or best 2 out of 3 or something, and it's just like, man, I can't, like I'm thinking, and so those games take 30 minutes of like mental stress and you know, whatever. I'm sure, I don't know, maybe some of you don't get that, but I sure as heck do. And yeah, it just gets annoying sometimes. That's all. Especially when you forget something, you kick yourself. See, like I'm targeting him there or whatever. But so right here in the duel, I've taken 5 points of damage and he's taken 4. I think, yeah, see right here I'm thinking because like I can't target him, right? I can't do anything to that Zidane. But I had to put him out because Zidane can't be blocked by 4s or higher, and so I had to put something else just to hold them off. And here I'm thinking about dropping the Delita, but I end up putting the Pelennor, or no, I put the Goblin out. Just in case I need to do the Delita, go in for game. See right here I'm thinking I have to... Next turn, I will swing 3 times. If he doesn't have anything, I will swing with the Vivi, I will swing with Sabin, and then I will haste the Delita to swing into it. As much as I like the Goblin card, I'm only playing it at 1 in that time. It is a great card. It's just for the haste, like for a 1-turn haste, but I don't know. I don't see a lot of fire. Honestly, I don't see a lot of fire decks, period, lately. But that's just me. I feel like everybody moved to ice right now, or everybody's moving to lightning and stuff like that, and water's taking a back seat as well. And he's asking me about selfie. Remember, selfie's only when you're attacking, so it's not like monk or the other cards that you can buff on either player's turns. Which is kind of why I personally feel like I'm over the selfie altogether. But like I said, I'm waiting for Opus 5 to bring me some better fire backups, excuse me. And yeah. That's about it with that. But again, make sure you guys read your cards. Very important. Always. You don't want to. I know it happened this the last tournament we went to. One of my friends, Zach, got corrected, or they thought they were correcting him. They were telling him to read the card, and when they in fact were incorrect. And so you got to be able to stand your ground when it comes to like stuff like that on the rulings, and because it really is both players' responsibility to know what the cards do. But let's be real, if you forget your own effect, it's very unlikely that the other player will correct you, especially if it benefits them. And yeah, that's why you either have to learn all the cards or just make sure you're 100% sure of what all your cards do against against common things in the meta. Like I couldn't tell you what, I guess I can kind of tell you how my cards interact, like when I play water, with pretty much everything, because I did that. I've gone through that playtesting. Like I've gone through all the elemental matchups and stuff like that. And what am I do here? Oh, I decided Tama. Yeah, pitch 2. Yeah, pitch 2 tap for my boy Golbez. My boy Delita. Deal with that Golbez. Yeah, see, this happens a lot during the duel. He's asking me about cards because sometimes you just can't remember them all. And I think that's the important lesson I want to take out of this video for you guys. I know it's hard. There's thousands of cards, or there will be if there isn't already. But you got to remember them all because you'll never know when you'll run into someone playing Fire Earth or playing Golbez or playing Ice Wind, Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8. Or any variants. Like what's a Fire Lightning? I don't think I've ever played anybody using Fire Lightning, or Ice Lightning. Everything else seems pretty common, but Fire variants are probably the weird ones for me. Like, I don't think short of playing against the Fire Dancer deck that my Warsaw had, was just like, I don't think I've ever played against the Fire Wind deck ever outside of that. So again, yeah, you just gotta prepare yourselves for Sometimes it's easier when you know when the meta is. Like if let's say everyone's playing a specific fire variant, or the lightning wind is a very perfect example. Like you can expect to see the lightning wind onion knight decks show up at any major event. Maybe not necessarily your locals every time, but definitely at like big events you should expect that. Like I know I saw one at the last 3 major events I went to: the Summoner Series, the Petit Cup, and then now the Winter Park 1K. And if you don't know what they do, like Onion Knight, for example, a legendary win Onion Knight, when it comes onto the board, it recovers. See, look, I'm going off purely on memory here, guys. So it recovers 1 Onion Knight from the grave. You can put 1 into your hand, and then its special ability is pitch 1 to put another Onion Knight from your deck to the field, but you have to put the legendary Onion Knight to the bottom of the deck. And I don't think there's another one, but also when it comes into the field, it deals 3k, and when it attacks, it deals 3k. See, that's like 4 little effects that, are all in there. And, if you don't remember, let's say you forget to deal the 3,000 damage, or deal the 3,000 damage, and you knew that's why you wanted to play it, but you forgot because you're so like involved in the duel and you're trying to finish the game or whatever. But you might overlook it. Another good example is Dadaluma. Dadaluma gets his effect twice when he's targeted and when he takes the damage. So for example, Rydia and Alcid, and if anything like that targets him, even Terra, the Wind Terra. I mean, not the Wind Terra, the Ice Terra, excuse me. When it summons, it deals, it chooses, and then Dadaluma's effect will activate, and then when he takes the damage, the 4k, because he's dull, it will deal the 4k, but he'll also deal 4k back. So you see, those are just, sometimes you forget that. And Babis, don't even get me started on Babis. Everyone forgets to Babis's effect, or how to properly use it, because it's so how's the word I'm looking for? Peculiar. Like you have to, when they attack, you have to, like, it's an auto effect, but you can also target the forward that is about to attack, a forward that already attacked, or a forward that's gonna attack. You can pretty much choose any of them, and that kind of mental mind, that mind game that you want to play with your opponent becomes difficult, especially if you forget it. So, and especially another good one to talk about is Zidane's and the unblockable monsters. If you're thinking right now, the only ones I can think of right now are Yuffie, Zidane, and Kobleroid. But Kobleroid is cost 3 or greater, can be blocked, and Zidane is cost 4. And to be honest, I don't even remember Yuffie. I think she's also cost 3 or cost 3, but I could be wrong. And all these little things you got to remember when you're playing people, because sure enough, they'll sneak up on you. And forget about it. It's just super annoying. Larsa's a good one too. Like Larsa and Minwoo and Cecil. Those are all they're all similar but very different.
Which phone number, contact, or device do you want to call?
Sorry, that's.
I couldn't find that.
Alexa, never mind. Alexa, stop. That was creepy, right, guys? Alexa just decided to chime in. And that's my alarm. Okay, enough with the phones and stuff. But yeah, so going back to what I was saying, Minwoo is any damage that you take that includes battle and effect damage. Cecil is only effect damage. And I believe Larsa is any damage also. See, I don't even remember. I'd have to look at the card, Larsa, that tells me that, whether it's effect damage or all damage. I'm pretty sure she's a mini Minwoo, so that covers that. But then there's also Beatrix. When Beatrix says when Steiner's on the board, she doesn't take, I believe it's effect damage. So it's like, there's a difference between the two, and it's just having them all on board dictates, I'm not going to take any damage pretty much, but when you're playing Beatrix, Larsa, let's say, for example, I don't know why you would play all 4 of them in the same deck, but let's say you would be, sometimes when you have one out and one and not the other, you'd be confused, and you'd be like, no, this one does this, but then you get into an argument and be like, no, read it again, etc. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. I should be talking about the duel, but I guess I'll get into why I'm talking about this later. You'll see in these plays. Like I said, playing the Golbez deck, there's tons of stuff you got to think about. And so here I use Bahamut, trying to get rid of the rogue so I don't get frozen and doled and frozen. But he'll respond with the Fanfrit to take it, and then I'll still block, and then he's going to respond another Fanfrit, and then finish the Dane. Yeah, see, when you have the Fanfrits, it's easier, but you have to play the Fanfrit when you block and stuff like that. That way you know what's dying, and what you have to get into it. Anyway, this is game 2. I do want to talk about this one. This one's very important. It's going to go by quick. But again, this is just what these decks do sometimes. So here he's playing against the Mono Wind. Dice rolls, and I'll go first, I believe. It was a 4. I didn't see the other one. I don't even remember. But so this is sometimes what you have to deal with when you're playing against an aggro deck. Like, this is tempo, sometimes your deck takes a little longer to set up, and then sometimes you got to figure out a way to get put walls or put stuff to deal with like super aggressive decks. And let's get into this real quick with you guys. See, right now it seems like, we're just playing out like regular turns. Turn 1, drop a backup. Turn 2, backup. Yeah, that's exactly what I decided to do. Yeah, that way I start with 3. That's kind of how I like to be sometimes when I'm playing these setup decks that take a little bit longer. And here we go. We're going to get into the Golbez plays now, I think. They should be it. 2, 3, no? Oh, Shulk into him. Makes me discard a card, and then swing for 1. See, it almost looks like, alright, I'll be fine. He definitely doesn't have a Golbez, I would think that, sometimes you don't rush it, but sometimes you gotta play the different play style. And here I realized that if I drop the Kanasena, I don't get my backups refreshed because I don't have the 4-cost backup. I can't remember her name. Arun Senna, I think. Yeah, that's Ryo Senna, and she's Arun Senna or whatever. But yeah, she's the one that lets you refresh the backups. And yeah, so I think this is the play that's coming up that I want to talk about. I lied. I don't think this is it. He's definitely thinking about it, though. I know he wants to play something. He wants to play it real bad. Oh, there you go. Oh, so it's definitely the next turn. Yeah, he's like, I'll wait the next turn. And sometimes, that's what you have to do. You just have to wait. You're in a better... You can live a turn or so. See, and here I'm choosing not to attack. I'm pretty sure I pass because, even if I do get the 1 damage point, he'll get 2. That'll put me at 3. You don't want to make those kind of trades when you're playing this game. So sometimes it's just safer just to block like that. Like keep your forward active so you can block. And yeah, this is definitely the play that I was talking about. Alright, so here it goes. 2, 4, 6 from the hand. CP. Boom. Golbez. Done. 1, 2 for... There you go. Cleared the board. Gets all the hasters. 1, 2. And in here we talk about, if I remember correctly, we're like, I tell him, yeah, exactly. I tell him just grab the other haster because it doesn't tell him that you can bring out multiple copies, but it doesn't say you can't bring out a copy of someone that is already exists. The only requirement to the effect for it to resolve is that they're all different colors. So yeah, even if you already have one out, it doesn't matter. So see, these are the kinds of things you have to remember. See, if I hadn't told him, he would have not have brought out another haster, maybe, just because he did, not that he didn't know what his card did, but just that he might have made up an effect there. And just like that, the duel is over. See? Yeah, I thought it was great. Gives him haste, swings for more. Boom. No EX burst, no nothing. Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, man, sometimes you just can't stop these things. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys watch the last one. I'm going to come back in a little bit. I do want to point out one thing for you. And that'll pretty much be the end of this video for it. But, alright, I'll see you in a sec. Boom. Here it is. This is exactly when I wanted to stop and talk to you guys for a bit. And again, going back into the whole kind of my talk or my discussion, lecture, whatever you want to call it for the rest of this video, for the earlier parts of it. This is a perfect example of what not to do because, you know, both players are unaware or forget or just honestly sometimes don't even know what the effect of the cards do. And this is why it's important to make sure you read everything when you're not sure or when it sounds too overpowered or anything like that. So I'm going to go over it with you really quick just so you understand what I'm talking about. Onion Knight, haste. For 1 CP and to tap, you may return Onion Knight to its owner's hand. You may play 1 card Onion Knight from your hand onto the field. Stop. There's a period there. And then this is the effect that I forget. You can only use this ability during your turn. So, and I'm sure you guys know where I'm going with this already. I attacked with Lock and he blocked with Onion Knight. And he's going to get away with his effect. He's going to pay 1 CP to activate it, exhaust him, and return him back to his hand. And I think he just puts him back onto the field too. And yeah, that's technically cheating. But, you know, it's not intentional cheating. I know for a fact he didn't know. And honestly, I should have known and I should remember. But I guess going back to my point of the video earlier, you have to try to remember to read all the cards and try to make sure you take your time and learn them all. You got to read everything, learn it, because this could happen either intentionally or by accident. If it's by accident, you know, you're gonna kick yourself later, obviously, when you remember or when you figure it out. But if it's intentional, that's how people, you know, sometimes soft cheat. You know, kind of just don't. It's not technically lying. It's just I'm not telling the whole truth, right? I'm sure we've all heard that before, or that's rationalizing, as some people like to call it. But see, it's these little effects that are very important. Going back to, like I was saying earlier in the video about Sabin or Selfie, those are only when you're attacking. All of Sabin's effects are only when he is attacking. His special effect is only when he's attacking, and his ability to power himself up by 1,000 is only when he's attacking. And Selfie, again, only when you're attacking. And in this case, it's only when it's on your turn. So I guess when you're on the offensive on your turn. But again, like you said, you know what I'm getting at. I let him get away with it. But again, we both didn't catch it. He didn't know, I didn't remember, and I was just like, oh, okay, that's annoying. Because I know his effect is to return himself back to his hand, but I forgot that it has to be on his turn. Yeah, exactly. So, with that being said, yeah, that's it for me. I'm gonna let you guys watch the rest of this video, and I hope you enjoy it, and I'll catch you next time.